Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 25th of March. Body of Indian woman killed in New Zealand terror attack returns home. Former senior police official indicted in extrajudicial killing of Pashtun model in Pakistan. And civil liberties, human rights remain red lines for Afghan women in peace talks. And now for all the details. The body of Ansi Ali Baba, one of the 50 victims of the Christchurch attack and one of at least 5 Indians killed, arrived in India's southern Kerala province from New Zealand for last rites on Monday. Family members, relatives and friends gathered at a house to express their condolences. The family planned to hold a funeral ceremony for the 25-year-old master's student in their native village in Kerala. Most of the dead were laid to rest at a mass burial in Christchurch on Friday. Others have been buried at private ceremonies or repatriated to their home countries for funerals. Most victims of the country's worst mass shooting on March 15th by white supremacists were migrants or refugees from countries including Pakistan, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. Indian Air Force on Monday inducted 4 American-made heavy-lift tandem rotor CH-47 Chinook helicopters in Chandigarh city to enhance its high-altitude transportation capabilities. The country is procuring 15 CH-47 helicopters from Boeing with India-specific enhancements.
Indian Air Force on Monday inducted 4 American-made heavy-lift tandem rotor CH-47 Chinook helicopters in India's northern Chandigarh city. Chinook's high maneuvering capability and service ceiling of 20,000 feet, along with all-weather day and night operability, makes it an ideal transportation military aircraft for difficult mountainous terrains. The country is procuring 15 CH-47 helicopters from Boeing, with India-specific enhancements for its high-altitude troops and payload transportation requirements, along with humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations.
The aircraft is all-weather capable and the state-of-the-art night vision goggles will permit all roles even by night. We have procured the Chinook with certain India-specific enhancements to increase the flexibility of the platform across the entire spectrum of heli-lift operations, including search and rescue and air ambulance roles. Thus, this helicopter is not only with the Air Force for the military role, it's a national asset.
Indian government had signed a deal of $1.17 billion with Boeing in 2015 for CH-47 and AH-64 Apache attack helicopters. The entire fleet of 15 Chinooks is expected to arrive before March 2020. While the AH-64 helicopters are also expected to start arriving by September this year. They would assist Indian military's Mi-17 and Mi-26 helicopters in transportation operations.
In news from Pakistan, an anti-terrorism court in Pakistan on Monday indicted Rao Anwar, a former senior superintendent of police, for extrajudicial killings of a Pashtun model and 3 others in 2018. Pashtuns have long blamed that they have been targets of military operations, ethnic stereotyping and abductions by the Pakistani security forces.
An anti-terrorism court in Pakistan's Karachi city on Monday indicted Rao Anwar, a former senior superintendent of police, for killing of Pashtun model Naqibullah Mahsood in a fake encounter in 2018. The court had on January 25th dismissed cases of terrorism against Naqibullah Mahsood and 3 others in light of the report submitted by the committee probing their killings. The inquiry committee termed their murder in January 2018 as extrajudicial killing and said in light of the evidence and crime scene, the encounter was fake and fabricated. The killings had initiated the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, a civil rights movement demanding security and protection for ethnic Pashtuns. Pashtuns have long blamed that they have been targets of military operations, internal displacement, ethnic stereotyping and abductions by the Pakistani security forces. They allege that Pakistan Army functions along with militant groups in federally administered tribal areas and indiscriminately uses brute force against innocent Pashtuns.
In news from Afghanistan, Afghan women have said that civil liberties and women's rights are not negotiable in efforts to reach peace with the Taliban. They have expressed fears over the looming prospect that the hardline Islamist group, whose rule barred women from education, could once again become part of the government.
Women's rights activists have called on Afghan politicians to bring the protection of civil liberties and human rights as the red lines during upcoming peace talks with the Taliban. Musgan Sadat, who disguised as a male for 4 years during the Taliban regime so that she could work for her family, said she had to leave school and her family changed their living place in order to keep her gender as a secret. She now has a bachelor's degree in economics and works in the president's administrative office. She also writes poetry and stories.
یعنی برای 4 سال از دست بده. برای 4 سال از خانواده خونه‌اش نوه که اسم از ببرن. برای 4 سال اسم بالایز گذاشتش که اصلا جنسیت از او چیز نیسته. این چیز برای آدم زیاد درد آوره.
Afghan women fear the freedoms eked out since US-backed Afghan forces overthrew the Taliban in 2001 are about to slide backwards if the group once again becomes part of the government.
در صورتی که طالبان موافقه میکنن با آمدنشان نظام حفظ میکنن و قانون اساسی افغانستان احترام میگذارن زنها هیچ مشکلی نداره.
This comes at a time when delegates from mainstream Afghan political parties are preparing to attend a second meeting with the Taliban next month in Doha. This will be a follow-up of the talks held between the two sides in Moscow back in February.
More on news from Afghanistan. Afghanistan's Ministry of Education has announced the start of the new school year. More than 1 million new students are expected to enroll in at least 18,000 schools across the country.
Afghanistan's Ministry of Education, announcing the start of the new school year, has said that more than 1 million new students will be enrolled in at least 18,000 schools across the country. The ministry's statistics show that at least 9 million students are attending schools across Afghanistan. According to the ministry's website, at least 49 million textbooks were published last year to be distributed for the new school year.
موجودیت مواد مخدره و هزارها بدبختی دیگه اینمی عقب ماندگی ما در معارف و عدم داشتن علم است.
Lack of professional teachers, adequate textbooks and buildings has been one of the main problems for education over the past years. Afghan teachers say paying attention to education is the only option which can solve Afghanistan's problems.
Moving on to news from Nepal, Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on Sunday promised to unveil the report by Terai Madhe's Unrest Probe Committee submitted to the previous government in 2017. The probe committee had investigated incidents of violence at the time of Madhesi agitation.
Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has promised to unveil a report from Terai Madhe's Unrest Probe Committee after the government goes in brief through it. Addressing the last day of winter session of the Nepal Parliament on Sunday, Oli promised to release the report which was submitted to the then Premier Sher Bahadur Deuba in 2017. The promise by Oli came after Rashtriya Janata Party Nepal or RJPN raised the issue and demanded for the release of the report, obstructing the same session's proceedings.
गर्न भ्यायो सीमित समयमा कति ठिकै नतिजा प्राप्त गर्यो त्यो आफ्नो ठाउँमा होला तर त्यो प्रतिवेदन अलिकति सरकारले अध्ययन गर्ने र सार्वजनिक गर्न कुनै समस्या हुने छैन, त्यसलाई सार्वजनिक गर्न सकिन्छ।
The high-level probe commission on Terai Madhe's unrest was led by former Justice of Nepal Supreme Court in the year 2016. The probe committee was formed to investigate the incidents of killings, violence, destruction of properties and arson at the time of Madhe's agitation. The violence and the destructions were the result of the clashes between security forces and the Tharuhat and the United Democratic Madhesi Front.
Business owners in India are cashing in on the upcoming elections in the country with unique products to attract young voters. India will go to polls from April 11th over 7 phases. More than 900 million voters are eligible to vote, out of which 15 million are between the ages of 18 to 19 years.
Enterprising business owners in India are riding high on the election wave as they sell poll merchandise, tapping the prospects of what are said to be world's largest elections. A shop owner in India's financial capital Mumbai has added t-shirts, jackets, badges and keychains to his collection of political party flags, banners and stalls to attract the young voters.
Young generation के हिसाब से, क्योंकि वोटर ही ज़्यादा है young, उनको ये करने के लिए आकर्षित करने के लिए कीचेन बनाया, टी-शर्ट बनाया नया, और अभी वो जैकेट वाले आने वाले जैकेट वो भी नया ट्रेंड है, वो हिसाब से उसके ऊपर हर एक पार्टी का ये रहेगा, लोगो रहेंगे.
Meanwhile, in India's eastern Kolkata city, a shopkeeper is campaigning for elections with sweets of different colors and shapes of political party symbols. In India, sweets are an integral part of any celebration. Election candidates as well as party workers are often seen distributing sweets right from the occasion of filing nominations to rallies, meetings, voting days and of course result days.
जब मिठाई का माध्यम से हम वोट का प्रचार करें, इसमें हमारा सेल भी ज़्यादा होगा, हमारा बिक्री भी सही होगा. नया तरीका है ये. वही रखते हुए हम क्या किया, भाजपा को बनाया कमल साहब, बीजेपी का, कांग्रेस का हाथ है, सीपीएम का कास्तर हाथुरी है, तृणमूल का आपको फूल है, तृणमूल फूल है. उसका बाद रसगुल्ला भी हम बनाया.
India is going to polls from April 11th over 7 phases. More than 900 million voters are eligible to vote, out of which 15 million are between the ages of 18 to 19 years. Polling would conclude on May 19th, while the results would be announced on May 23rd.
Buddhist devotees took part in a special procession in Himalayan desert town of Leh to mark the Buddhist holy month of Tangpo, to pray for the well-being of the entire humanity. The event commemorates the miraculous manifestations of Gautam Buddha during the first 15 days of the Tibetan lunar calendar.
Scores of Buddhist devotees on Sunday gathered on the streets of Himalayan desert town of Leh in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir to participate in a special procession organized during the Buddhist holy month of Tangpo, also known as Chostro Lazawa. The devotees were seen prostrating themselves after every step of the journey to the temple through a rough terrain in a procession of religious penance known as Gochak. The event commemorates the miraculous manifestations of founder of Buddhism Gautam Buddha during the first 15 days of the Tibetan lunar calendar.
So when you are doing a procession with the common persons, then you are alike. So in that your negative emotions get decreases. And secondly, when we're doing the processions, we just thinking about the Buddha's mental body, Buddha's physical body and the wisdoms. So by recollecting the Buddha's wisdoms and the mental body and the merits, you just check your own self. At least you kill your negative emotions.
इस साल लगभग 750 के आसपास श्रद्धालु उपस्थित है और यहाँ पे ख़त्म होने के बाद आज हम गोचक मंदिर के वहाँ पूजा होता है, उसके बाद सारे लोग दर्शन के लिए जाता है.
Thousands of devotees participate in the prayers every year, prostrating and marching to pray for peace and well-being of the entire humanity. During the 3-day-long ritual, the devotees practice penance by avoiding non-vegetarian food, alcohol and other intoxicating substances.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.